All right, guys, today we're going to do a review on this BestArc plasma cutter. It's the BTC500DP. They reached out to me about 2 weeks ago and said, hey, can we send you a welder? And I said, nah, I'm good. I have enough welders. And then they said, well, we can send you a plasma cutter. I said, sure, send it over. We'll do a quick review on it. This is not an unboxing or any of that stuff. I'm going to take it out of the box, set it up. We're going to do some cuts with it. I grabbed some 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch steel, and then the one thing that we're going to do that I don't really see anybody else doing on the YouTube, which I think is a shame, because this machine has the ability to cut expanded metal. So what I did, I just grabbed this old foot peg off of a bike, and basically, you know, if you don't know, like old school plasma cutters, you'd have to strike the arc and it would have to be touching the metal to maintain the arc. And then if you were to come to a hole like this, it would die, and then you'd have to restrike your arc and come across and die and strike your arc, right? So it's a bit of a pain on the old ones. This one has a setting where you can go in and set up, you know, a number of seconds where the arc will stay lit even though there's no metal there. So like, you know, 5 seconds or something, which should give it the ability to come in, cut, and stay, you know, maintain the arc the whole way through, even these holes, right? So I expect it to just, you know, buzz through it, no problems. And then it's got some delays too, where you can leave the air running through to keep your consumables cooler. They'll just last a little bit longer if you do that stuff. So yeah, that's it. We're gonna go through, do a bunch of cuts, cut some expanded metal, or cut through some holes, should I say. This isn't really expanded metal. And we'll see how it does. All right, enough talking. Let's do it. All right, guys, literally 5 minutes. This is set up. I mean, there is not much to it at all. You can't get it wrong. I mean, it's, yeah. 2 things. This thing is super light. It doesn't weigh much at all. And then my only complaint so far is the power cord from it. It's about 4 feet in length. Not super long. It is a 240, which is fine. You know, I don't have this. This isn't my 240 at my house, right? It's different. So this is some NM or NMEA or some whatever plug this is. I don't know. But they give you this adapter to 110. So 110 to that, which gets you. It comes with it, right? I will need to make an adapter to get my 240 to work directly with this plug, which is no big deal. I don't have that right now. So we'll only have 110 for this demo, which will be interesting because I'm going to cut some 1/2 inch steel with it. So we'll see how it does. Other than that, I mean, you're up and running in 5 minutes. Like I said, I've not turned this on. So this is going to be our first turn on. The switch is on the back of it, right? So there's a little plastic. Whoa, uh-oh. Come around, there you go. So we'll even take off this little protection. Here we go. It's doing something. Okay, we're up and running. EO5. I saw that. I forgot to hook the air to it. I saw that on another YouTube video. That's the only reason I know that EO5 is no air. So that's my bad. I forgot. So we're gonna put some air to it. And there you go. So what is this? This is your amperage. Okay. So we can go to 35 amps as our max because we're on 110. It even tells you right there. So it must auto switch between 110 and 240. I don't even know if this is, you guys see that? Hopefully that's coming through in the camera. We've got 82 PSI. You probably want to back that off. All right, we'll go 50. So this is just your regulator, right? So it's on cut right now, so if you press this, it'll let the air through, and then you set your pressure, you set your cutting pressure while it's running, right? Like if you set it to 50 and then pull the trigger, it's gonna drop, right? You're gonna have pressure loss, right? So that's why they do that. 2T, 4T, I think that's for the trigger. So like 2T is when you have to hold it and keep your finger on it. and then when you let go, it'll stop. But 4T is, you know, it's like a lock for the trigger. You can pull the trigger, just stay on, and then you have to like push it again to turn it off. I don't know what this is. Oh, post time, post arc, right? So this is set to 3 seconds. That's how much air will come through your tool after you stop the arc. So that'll keep your consumables cooler. So you probably want that up at like 8 seconds. And then PA is set to 5. So what is PA? Is that pre-arc or something? Let's take a look. We're going to the instructions. Yep, PA, pilot arc time. There you go. So 3 to 15 seconds, just the duration of pilot arc. Okay. So that is for your expanded metal like I was talking about. So you can set that to like 5 seconds and it'll just keep cutting through even though there's holes in your material. So that's pretty cool. We're going to set that to, 5 seconds. There you go. Awesome. So we're pretty much ready to cut. All right, guys, we're going to do our first cut. So I got the machine set up at 20 amps and 45 PSI for the air pressure. The pilot arc is 5 seconds, and this peg is off a bike. It's powder coated, so we're just going to go for it. We're going to cut right through these holes, powder coat everything. This metal's almost 3 mil thick. It's like 2.9 mil. So that's per the instructions on the chart there. You're looking at 20 amps and about 45 psi. That's it. Let's just freaking do it and see what happens. Don't forget your glasses. We'll do this before we even touch it and see. So we have our 8 seconds on our post time to keep our consumables cool, right? So, and this, they must test these at the factory because this is a little discolored. It doesn't look like it's used, but it's definitely a little discolored. So they must give it like a test cut before they ship them out. Here's the model of the gun at AG60P. Really nice, has a ball on the bottom of it. That's kind of cool. You know, a little easier when you're moving in tight spots. All right, let's do it, guys. Hopefully I don't cut my welding table. Golly. It goes through it like it's not even there. And what's weird is it loses the arc and then the arc comes back. I don't know if that's by design or should the arc stay. I'm not 100% sure there. I should probably read the instructions. Yeah, it just blows right. It's like it's not there. Wow, that's pretty impressive. I'm not sure if the arc should stay or not. Let me look that up. All right, we're going for it again. I think I might have been letting go of the trigger on that first one, but let's do it again. That's pretty impressive. All right, next up we're going to do some 6 mil. This is 1/4 inch or 6 mil steel. I don't have a lot of it, so I'll probably I'll just cut left or right, and you'll be able to see it. I think through the bottom there. I did change the setting, so I went up to 30 30 amps and 52 psi. Let's go. This is 6 mil, 110 volts. I'm not sure this is going to work. So it did cut it. Okay, cut right through it. Let's flick it over. Yeah, there's some dross there for sure. We're going to go a little higher on our air. All right, this one's going to be 55 psi and 32 amps. All right, so that seemed to cut a lot better. It looks a little cleaner inside there as well. And we should have 2 pieces. Oh, touch, this is pretty freaking hot. But there you go. That'll give you an idea of the cut. Now this, again, this is 110. It shouldn't even cut this. So that's pretty wild. I'll probably bring you guys in and give you a closer look at this. Yeah, there's a little, the first one I did, there's a little tiny bit still caught down there. I think it did need a little higher amperage and a little more air pressure. But that is pretty wild. And this should just break off, I think. Yeah, that dross just chips away. But let me see if I can get this in the camera for you. I don't know if that's my freaking hands probably in the way. But yeah, it shouldn't even cut that. Like, that's pretty impressive. And that's the ugly side. This is the second shot at it, where I had a little more amps and a little higher air pressure, and it just blew right through it really cleanly. Yeah. Assume that's it. Yeah, it's hot. That is pretty wild. So let's cut some 3 mil stuff. It'll blow through. This is what it should be cutting. So it'll blow through that, no problem. All right, we're just going to buzz a strip of this off. I did go back to 30 amps and I lowered my air pressure again. Let's go. That's insane. Yeah, that is wild. You know, for my third cut with this plasma cutter, I mean, you got to dial your machines in, but look at that, is insane. I mean, unbelievable. All right, let's cut some circles. I'm going to freehand some stuff. This is where it's going to go sideways. All right, this is just going to be me freehanding a circle. This is going to be ugly, I can tell you right now. Oh yeah, that's so ugly. That is bad. I am not good freehand and stuff. That is pretty rough looking. But you can do all kinds of patterns or really anything you want with this thing. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, I'm going to try and cut a 1/2 inch piece of steel with it. I'm not so sure it's going to do it, but we're going to max out the 110 settings. We're going to give it a whirl. Why not? Okay, this is 1/2 inch, 13 mil. The machine's maxed out on 110. So 60 PSI, 35 amps. I don't think it'll do this, but we're going to give it a shot. Yeah, we cooked it. Yeah, actually wasn't even the machine's fault. Like we overloaded my my power. It's a 20 amp circuit. It's on 30 amps. So yeah. So I definitely don't want to set my house on fire. But we're gonna try and finish this. Wow. So besides blowing a breaker in the house, I mean, it cut 1/2 inch. Like you couldn't do that for very long at 110 volts. I mean, that's not the machine's fault. But I can't even believe that it freaking cut it. Yeah. And it actually doesn't even look that bad. Like it was able to blow through just fine. Wow. This thing's impressive for what it is. I honestly wasn't thinking it was going to be that good. That's pretty wild. All right, guys. Last test of the day. We did just cut that 1/2 inch one, and it blew my breaker, which understandable. That's not the machine's fault. We're going to do more of a real world deal here, like, I don't know, exhaust stud, any kind of stud you want with a rounded bolt on it. That's what we're going to mimic. We're going to try and cut this, nut off without destroying the stud. So we'll stick it somewhere there and have at it. Probably should take the guard off, but screw it. We're going as is. I don't want to get in your way. I don't want my big head getting in the way there. Yeah, I can't tell. All right, we'll just do it this way. Should be enough to chip it away. Give you guys like a close-up of what that did. See if we can get this to work. Maybe. No. I don't want to touch it. So hopefully you can see roughly what that did. Let me see if I can focus this thing. So we just basically blew the side off of the nut in 2 places. So yeah, if this was like jammed up in a car or whatever, you just come in with a hammer and chisel, knock it off. Any more, you're going to destroy threads, right? Let's see if we can get this off real quick. How hot is it? It's hot. It's hot enough. It's hot enough where I don't want to touch it. So that's what we did there, guys. Whoa, there you go. We just blew the sides off of that nut with the plasma cutter. So, you know, if you're in a situation where you've got, you know, a nut that's rounded off and you have to basically cut it out, you just take the plasma cutter and nick the sides off of it, and yeah, you're good to go. We didn't damage these threads, really. They could use a thread chaser on them just to kind of clean them up. We might have nicked one thread there, but that's no big deal. There's the other side. It just sprays a bunch of dross all over them, you know. You just got to clean them up when you're done. But yeah, so when you're, you know, if you're doing that in a car and you just cut the sides off the nut, just take a air hammer to it and just nick them off. Or even a hammer and chisel, just finish them off. Get rid of the nut, and then you don't damage the stud that it's on. So it'll come in really handy for me for that kind of stuff. All right, guys, that's our initial kind of review of this machine. I mean, it pretty much did everything it needed to do, including cutting that 1/2-inch bar. Yeah, I did pop the breaker in the house, but that's a 20 amp circuit. So yeah, I was trying to kind of sneak my way through it before it popped it, but we got about halfway and then just went again. No big deal. It cut the 1/4-inch stuff as well on 110. No problems at all. I mean, for the money, I don't think you can go wrong. This is not an expensive machine. When BestArc reached out to me and they were like, you want the welder? I was like, no. You want the plasma cutter? I'm like, okay, sure. I told them, I said, look, if this thing's garbage, I'm going to say it. Like, they're not paying me or anything like that. And they said, yeah, sure. If it's junk, say it's junk. And I'm like, all right. I don't think it is, for a couple of reasons. It's not expensive. It does what it says it's going to do. And then on 220 volts or 240, whatever you want to call it, I mean, I don't think you're going to have breakers popping, right? So, yeah, I mean, for the money, I don't think you can beat it. They did send me a link. I'll put it in the description below. It's some kind of, I don't know if they call them affiliate links or what it is. I'm not sure. It's their Amazon link. And maybe they have some tracker or whatever that they can track using that link, or I don't know. But they asked me to put that in the video, so I will, right? I'll put their link down there. You really can't go wrong. Like, I guess depending on what you're using it for. Like, I wouldn't show up in a metal fab shop with this thing, right? It's the duty cycle's not there. But if you're, you know, an on-off user, you know, hobbyist, or even in a non-metal fab shop, aka a freaking a garage or something where, you know, you're doing exhaust work and you got to pop bolts off every now and again, yeah, this is your guy. And it is cheap. So yeah, I don't see how you can go wrong. I do have another project coming up for it, and BestArc knows this because I told them about it. I said, look, I got a trailer hitch on a John Deere that I need to fix. It's went a little George Michael on me, so I need to take that off, get it straightened, design a couple of brackets, and then we're going to use this guy to cut those brackets out, and then weld them in, you know, redo that whole trailer hitch and put it back up onto the machine. So that's coming up next, probably in about 2 weeks or so. I need to go buy some metal and, you know, design the brackets and all that crap. But once we get that done, we're going to use this to cut them out. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you're thinking about getting one of them, just get it. I mean, you're not going to be sorry. Yeah, it's pretty slick. All right, guys, have a good one.